Hey everybody, it's Lon Seidman. It's time for another unboxing. We're looking at the Minis Forum U300 that they sent to the channel free of charge the other day. This is a unique computer in that it is not very expensive at $300, but inside it's got some decent specs. It has an Intel 3867U processor inside. Let me take it out of the plastic here. And this chip is much faster than the Gemini Lake chips we typically see in mini computers at around this price point. It is based on the KB Lake R infrastructure, so it's essentially the same architecture as their laptop i3, i5, and i7 chips. It won't perform as well as an i3, but it will be much faster than some of the other ones that we've looked at, and there's a potential here that it might support HDR as well, with a caveat, which I'll get to in a second. So let's look at the outer case here real quick. You got a power button, headphone jack, USB Type-C. We will test out that Type-C port to see what it supports in my full review that you'll find at lon.tv. We have two USB 3.0 ports there. On the side, we have a micro SD card slot. On the back, we got power, two HDMI outputs, and this is the question mark because on the Amazon page, it says it only supports HDMI 1.4. If that's the case, the best you can do is 4K at 30 frames per second, and I don't think that will work with HDR. My hope is that they just didn't get the specs right and it's actually HDMI 2.0 or 2.1, and that would give us better performance on some of the 4K stuff. So I'll let you know what we see on this, but right now the specs don't look good for home theater use. You have two USB 3.0 ports there and gigabit Ethernet, and then nothing on this side. Now this is not fanless like many mini PCs are because this chip does require more power to operate, but nonetheless I think it's a pretty good configuration. Now inside, they say it's got 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes, it does right there, of solid state storage. So really not a bad deal here for $300 to get that out of the box. It has Windows 10 installed on it too, and we'll put it through its paces to see how well it does. Now it looks to me that this is an M2 SATA drive. I will test to see if it supports NVMe drives in the full review. It might, just because this architecture can support that. I'm going to pop off the bottom though to see what we have underneath to see if the RAM is upgradable, so hang on. So here is the underside of the computer. You can see the fan and heatsink here. The RAM unfortunately is not upgradable, but again it's got 8 gigabytes, so I think that should be enough to get going. And then you can, of course, upgrade the storage, and we'll check and see if we can put in an NVMe drive in that full review. So I am eager to get to work on this one. Let's see what else is in the box here. You've got your official Minis Forum manual, and it gives you some instructions on swapping out the SSD on there. So good stuff. And then we also have a power adapter. This is the US adapter with the barrel connector there. We'll test power consumption in the review as well. HDMI cable, which is always good to see in the box. And then we got more stuff here. So what is this thing? Oh, this is like a SATA adapter. So I guess you can install a SATA hard drive inside of this. There is room for that somewhere. And I'll have to check the manual as to where it goes. I'm guessing it goes on the upper portion. Yeah, it slides into the top of the case here. So you can get a M2 drive and a regular SATA drive, and that must connect up to the motherboard somewhere. There's a small connector here, right? It goes right in there actually. So that is where the SATA connector goes. Some extra rubber feet, because when you take it apart, you have to take the rubber feet off. And this is a VESA mount adapter, so you can mount this on the back of a monitor. So pretty complete kit here for the price point, and I'm very eager to see how this performs. So stay tuned. We're going to have a full review soon on the main channel at lon.tv.
This channel is brought to you by the lon.tv supporters, including gold level supporters, the Four Guys with Quarters podcast, Tom Albrecht, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.